everyone, welcome to another video. I'm here at one of my open houses, and as you guys know, I like to use my time efficiently, so we're going to make some content. Today's a little bit more lighthearted content though, because what we're going to focus on is 10 real estate fun facts. And I know what you're thinking, real estate fun facts typically don't go together, but trust me, I think you'll find these pretty interesting. The last one had me spin it because I'll tell you right now, I would never. Let's go. All right, folks, and the first fun fact is going to be the White House. Not only is it the home for our chief in command, but it is also a valuable piece of real estate. It's actually valued at an estimate of $400 million. And obviously this is due not only to the size and location, but historical significance as well. This is also one of the properties that very rarely loses value. It's the flippin' White House. It's where the president's at. Of course, it's not going to lose value very often, but that's your first little fun fact, is that the White House is an actual piece of real estate that is worth $400 million around there. And moving right along, keeping in the theme of historics, we're going to talk about the oldest recorded deed. So the oldest recorded deed for a piece of real estate is dated back to 3000 BC in a land called Ur, U-R. Now today we know that land as Iraq. Now, it's funny to think that nowadays we still use this as a means to transfer real estate ownership from one person to the next. It is by transferring the deed to them. And this is something that started 3000 BC. That's pretty incredible when you think about how modern day technology and everything we have nowadays, but we're still using something that we've discovered anciently. And moving from the oldest piece of recorded real estate, we're going to go into the largest piece of recorded real estate, which is the Istana Nurul Imam Palace in Brunei. Now, this palace belongs to the Sultan of Brunei, and I'm going to read off some of the statistics to make sure I don't get them wrong, just to show you the scale of this magnificent piece of real estate. So, it boasts 1,788 rooms. It includes 257 bathrooms, a banquet hall that can accommodate up to 5,000 guests, and the palace itself can hold up to 1,500 people within its chambers. It also has a 110-car garage and an air-conditioned stable for 200 polo ponies that belong to the Sultan himself. Now, you want to talk about a chunk of land. We're over here arguing over a 3-2. This guy's got 1,788, 257. Jeez. So, fun fact number 4 is another landmark that we're going to talk about, and it's actually the Hollywood sign. So, in 1923, the Hollywood sign was erected, and it said Hollywood Land. Now, what it was done for was actually real estate advertising. They were advertising the housing project that they were doing in the Hollywood Hills themselves. Now, it was not supposed to be permanent. It was supposed to be temporary, but it became such an endearing part of the entertainment capital of the world that they removed the land part and just left the Hollywood up in 1949. But fun thing to think about when we as real estate agents pay top dollar to have our faces on the internet, on websites, on park benches. Some folks can afford to have them on banners on the side of the highway. But here you had an entire hill procured just to advertise the land development that was occurring in Hollywood. Pretty fun thing to think about in the whole scale of things. Okay, moving on to number 5. This one, what I found really interesting, because as we know, property values go up and property values come down. And certain things and certain factors can drive this to occur. For example, you have a neighborhood and they build a mall close to that neighborhood. Now those property values are going to slightly rise because you have a mall has amenities, entertainments, food, and all of that good stuff. By the same token, you have a neighborhood and now they decided to put a nuclear plant somewhere around there. That might drive property values down because, nobody wants to live next to a nuclear plant. But what we're going to talk about here is 1883 and the Brooklyn Bridge, which at the time was the largest suspended bridge ever built. Now, what this did was connect the city of Brooklyn to the city of Manhattan. And what it did for the residents of Brooklyn was drive their property values through the roof. because now it was easy to transit to Manhattan where most of the jobs were, but you didn't have to buy in Manhattan. That has always been expensive, not to mention nowadays. There's another part of this list that Manhattan is mentioned as well. But that's the fun fact number 5. The Brooklyn Bridge in 1883 increased everyone's property value when they lived in Brooklyn, thanks to the commute that they can now do to Manhattan. The next one that we're going to talk about is an easy one. This is one that many people know. The tallest piece of real estate, the Burj Khalifa. The Burj Khalifa, located in Dubai, was completed in 2010 and is about 2,700 plus feet tall. Has 163 stories. It holds residents, it holds businesses, it holds the Armani Hotel. It has breathtaking views of the entire city. And what it was developed for is to show the rapid development of that area. Now, if you look at Dubai before the 2000s and Dubai now, it's almost unrecognizable. The development that has occurred in that area is phenomenal and huge. But this was just an easy one to present to you guys. The tallest piece of real estate, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. Well, the next one we're going to talk about is nowadays less than a fun fact and more of a hassle, which is going to be commission. Commission splits. There's a few misunderstandings and misconceptions on commission splits. For example, I've had seller clients who don't understand that they're paying my commission and they're paying the buyer's commission. I've had buyers who think that they have to pay the commission. And, typically commissions are paid for by the seller. Now, the split is 100% negotiable, and the amount that the seller will pay is 100% negotiable. It typically ranges between 6, and I've seen it all the way down to 2%. And then the split is, again, another negotiable part. So, for example, I've got a seller who wants to pay 4%, and they're going to give me 2.5 and give the buyer 1.5. That can be done. In some cases, the sellers will say, hey, I'll give you 4%. I'm not giving nothing to the buyers. In which case, the buyer's agent now has to petition their client to pay their wage or, whatever it may be, their commission. That one typically is very rarely found, because if, as a seller, you don't offer buyer commissions, then buyers have no incentive to show your property. Obviously, if their client finds it on Realtor.com, Zillow.com, and they go, hey, I want to go see this property, you got to follow your fiduciary duties and take them to go see the property. But as buyer's agents, there's no incentive for them to show your property. So they'll skip right by it and show them another one that is paying commission. But that's another one I wanted to bring by. It is a sore subject nowadays with the NAR settlement and all that good stuff. But just so you know, commission splits are 100% negotiable, paid for by the seller. Okay, now that we got the boring out of the way, let's go back to the fun stuff. Number 8, haunted houses. Believe it or not, in some jurisdictions, sellers are obligated to disclose whether their home was haunted, the scene of a unfortunate death, or part of a crime investigation. I do understand why some of these houses, for example, if the house was a meth lab and all those chemicals were used and the vapors were in the home and all of that stuff, that's for, safety. But at the same token, imagine showing someone a home, they're clamoring like, oh my God, this house is perfect. It fits all our needs. It's such a good price. And just like every other haunted movie we've seen, the ghosts start to pop out. I don't know. I just thought it was funny that in some jurisdictions, real estate agents, along with their sellers, have to actually disclose, hey, Madame Eva lives in this house and she will be haunting you for the rest of your days. Have fun. The next fun fact is going to touch base on the hardest place to own real estate. And it's the hardest place to own real estate, not because of the prices, not because of the population, but because of geography. And we're talking about Greenland. So Greenland is 81% ice, meaning that the available land for real estate development is extremely limited. So the population that lives there either takes their own homes and extends them and makes them larger to accommodate for more family members, or they venture into the ice wilderness and try to conquer a piece of land that way. But it is by far the hardest place to own real estate, Greenland. And last but not least, and I did mention this one actually spun me, because we can all understand and relate spending the amount of money that we spend for real estate. It is the biggest investment that some of us will ever make in our life. But could you imagine paying north of $1 million for a parking spot? Yeah. So places like New York, places like Hong Kong, and even places like Dubai have parking spaces in prime locations that sell for north of $1 million. Just think about that for a second. You're not buying a bathroom or a home or a house or a 1-2 or anything at all. You're buying a place to park your car for $1 million. No thanks. All right, guys, and that's going to be it. You might notice a little bit of different audio and lighting on some of the sections just because I had to stop recording every time somebody arrived. Obviously, I got a duty to do. But other than that, I just wanted to bring a fun little video, top 10 little real estate facts to bring some lighthearted entertainment your way. If you need anything, this has been Angel, your real estate guardian. Give me a call. Recorded 3,000 was moving right along. We're gonna keep with the theme of this. Nurul Imam Badam was a